Product defects are a well-known and inevitable consequence of mass manufacturing. No factory is perfect, and almost every single order of goods produced in every single country in the world contains at least a few product defects, no matter how small or insignificant. I'm here today to tell you how experienced importers limit those defects. The process is broken down into 3 stages. Stage 1, prevent product defects before production begins. Stage 2, identify product defects that appear in production with QC inspection. And Stage 3, address product defects found and prevent their recurrence. This video will cover Stage 1. For Stage 2 and 3 videos on identification and corrective action, follow the link in the description below. Or, if you'd like more detail on the steps we just covered, you can download the full ebook at the link below. Stage 1, prevent product defects before production begins. Imagine you're importing kitchen knives. You found a manufacturer, approved an initial sample, and paid your deposit for an initial order. But just before you give the supplier the okay to ship out the order, you find that 30% of the knives have a huge scratch on the surface. You can't possibly ship these out to your client, so instead you spend weeks polishing out each one. You wasted time and money and could have avoided it all simply by enforcing some preventative action. There are 6 steps that can help prevent product defects. Let's break down each one separately. Step 1. Be upfront with potential suppliers about your order volume. A common mistake importers make when they first start their search for suppliers is misrepresenting themselves by saying only what they think suppliers want to hear. They exaggerate their order volumes in the hopes that suppliers will offer lower prices. But the truth is, suppliers can usually see right through this, and lying is never a good way to start a relationship. Instead, be honest with them. Tell them exactly what you're looking for, and start production with a small trial order. Step 2. Don't bargain too hard on price when negotiating with suppliers. Another mistake importers tend to make when negotiating with suppliers is bargaining too hard. Once you've started talking prices, suppliers don't want to let you go. So when you continue to haggle aggressively, they'll probably make cuts elsewhere in production just to meet your demands, and your product quality will likely suffer as a result. A better approach is to directly offer a target price. This will save time and help set quality standards early. If you don't know what a fair price to offer is, it might help to get comparable price quotes from multiple suppliers, or ask potential suppliers for a bill of materials or itemized pricing to help understand their manufacturing costs. Step 3. Vet potential suppliers by auditing their facilities. Many importers consider auditing their suppliers to be the final step in the sourcing process. Some audits are industry-specific, but the most common, and the one that focuses on quality, is an audit of a factory's quality management system. ISO 9001 is the most common international standard used in the manufacturing industry to implement and evaluate quality management systems. It may seem excessive to physically visit your potential supplier, but there are certain things only an audit can assess, like machine and equipment maintenance or internal QC procedures. In some cases, you might find that a supplier claiming to be a factory is actually subcontracting orders to other factories. This isn't necessarily a deal breaker, but it's helpful to know. Auditing can help you anticipate potential quality problems or risks before beginning production. Step 4. Establish a golden sample to set the quality standard. One of the most important steps to ensuring product quality is to establish an approved or golden sample. A golden sample is a factory's attempt to manufacture a product that fits your requirements and specifications before production. This will be the sample that the factory continuously refers back to throughout production. Since the golden sample sets the quality standard for the rest of production, reviewing and testing a product sample is vital before approving it as your golden sample. This may be as simple as checking dimensions and verifying color, but if your product is more valuable, you may have to send it to a professional third-party lab for testing. For example, jewelry importers typically test material composition and purity in a lab. Proper handling and tracking of your golden sample is also important to avoiding mix-ups. Imagine your approved sample gets dropped accidentally and now has a dent in it. Not knowing that this dent is unintentional, the factory might start mass-producing goods that have a similar dent. Avoiding an issue like this isn't difficult. It just requires careful attention. These 3 steps are a good start. Establish 2 identical samples, one for the factory and one for the product inspector to have on hand for comparison. Sign and date both samples for easy identification, and seal each sample in its own carton for shipping to avoid tampering. Step 5. Explicitly state your quality expectations in a QC checklist. A QC checklist is a list of specific characteristics of your product, like dimensions, colors, and material. Most checklists address a few key areas including product requirements, packaging requirements, on-site tests and checks, and defect classification. Having this checklist in place will help your supplier understand exactly what you're expecting, and you can continuously refer to it as you conduct quality inspections before, during, and after production. It will make it easier to classify product defects and determine whether an order meets your quality standards. It can also be useful to develop this checklist in collaboration with your supplier and inspection team. This way, everybody is clear on their expectations and has an opportunity to refine and improve standards as needed. Step 6. Clarify your quality expectations further with other documentation. Aside from a QC checklist, there are a few other documents that can help you clarify your product standards effectively. A purchase order, which contains information like item numbers, quantities, pricing, and payment terms, can help you lay out some basic clarifications. A vendor agreement, essentially a more extensive purchase order, can also be great for clarifying your expectations. There's a lot you can do to help prevent product defects. Mostly, it requires attention and detail. Nothing is simple when it comes to mass production. If you'd like more detail on the steps we just covered, you can download the full ebook at the link below. Now, how do you know when these preventative steps were successful? You need to conduct a quality control inspection. Click on the link below for the next video on stage 2, identifying product defects that appear in production with QC inspection.